Hello everyone, welcome back. Okay, so today I'm going to pot up my sycamore gap tree. This is a myrtle tree. If anybody was watching, last year I built this wall. This is my Hadrian's wall I built, and I'm going to plant this as the sycamore gap tree behind it. And if anybody who hasn't heard about the sycamore gap tree, it's a famous tree in England, or it was a famous tree, famous sycamore, and it kind of grows in the gap of a kind of hills. It was in the film Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. I think it was in '91 that was out. Kevin Costner and Morgan Freeman were in it. It was actually one of my favourite films growing up. So so the tree itself was cut down in 23, so not last year, the year before. Some vandals came and chopped it down in the middle of the night. So there was a fellow arrested. There was a court case and that about it, but I think it's been postponed at the moment. But anyway, so I decided I wanted to make one. So I built the wall, and I had a few different trees, but this one I've kind of grow to mimic it. The branch is in the right kind of, it's the structure of it's the right structure. If you look at the sycamore gap tree, it has a low branch on this side, so everything about this is pretty much good. It's as close as I've got to it anyway. I do have a sycamore tree which I'm growing to possibly one day use, but it's very hard to get sycamore trees leaves small, so at the moment it's still in training, but we'll go with this one for now anyway. Okay, so I'm hoping that I can get it in this pot. Okay, so I'm going to move this out of the way, the wall, for a minute, and we'll get the tree out of its pot. I'm not too sure, it's been in this pot for a few years now, so I'm not too sure how the roots are coming out the bottom, so I'd say it's going to be pretty dense roots in here. I'm going to have to do a bit of cutting. I'd rather not cut too much off if I can help it. Don't want to risk. Really stuff in there alright, I would say. So we had another beautiful day again here. Blue skies all day, about 15 degrees Celsius. Nice sunny day. We had a day of rain, so last week I managed to get some rainwater collected. I haven't filled my pots, my drums, but we got some anyway. This guy's pretty. See, with the lip on it, I'm gonna have to cut it out, I would say. So, where's my cutter knife? Go around with this and see if we can free it up. Sometimes you have a lip on your pot like this, an internal lip. Makes it a little bit trickier to get the tree out of. If its roots get too established in it. So I got this tree, I bought it as just a garden plant at the time, and I stripped all the branches off it and basically started with just the trunks and worked from there and rebuilt it from that. Okay, So this definitely looks like it's going to be a bit of a... There's a lot of roots in here. Okay, so this is going to definitely take a while to work on, so I won't bother boring you by making you go through watching me scrape this out for the next half hour. So we'll pause the video, and because I don't want the video to be too long, but I've got a bit of work to do by planting this and working a bit on the landscape, the mossing and stuff, so I'm sure you'd rather watch that than watch me raking this out. So we'll pause the video and we'll come back when I've got it done, or nearly done anyway. Okay, so it's been quite a while now, but we've got the bulk of the roots off the bottom, and there was a big mat at the bottom. We got rid of that. And I've tried to get as much of the muck out as I can. That's wasn't easy. I don't know how much further I want to risk it, to be honest. This tree taken me quite a while, a few years to get it to this stage. I'm kind of reluctant to go too crazy. I already have taken quite a lot of roots off, so I'm thinking now just prune off some of these longer ones. Some of these here at the back as well can be underneath. Let's see. We'll try it in the pot at that. I've got rid of all the ones going round anyway, so at least now everything can start going out. So let's get the pot up and have a look. Is she gonna fit? Okay. Not too bad. Now, there's the wall I built, so it's kind of hovering on top of soil here, so it can grow all the way through. I think I just cracked it there, but it doesn't matter, it'll stay together anyway. So what we can do is get rid of all this at the back here, so we can make it so the tree actually can grow underneath the wall and out into the front of the pot as well as the back. sink. It needs to be somewhere about here. Let's see if we can get a little bit more off the bottom so we can sink it a little bit more into the pot. I'll do this over the bin. Okay, so I played around with it a bit, I trimmed it off a bit, and I've worked it in there nicely. So now I'm just going to wire it in. I'm going to cross the wires diagonally over the exposed roots. I know it's kind of not the best, but we'll take them out as soon as we see that the tree is secure enough by itself. But I think this is the safest way of keeping it good and solid in this part. Again, we won't over tighten them, just get them tight enough to hold the tree so it's not moving about. You can't blow over. Is you only have 2 wire holes on this side of the pot, so I'm hoping, see it's moving quite a bit there, I'm not liking that. I think I'm going to have to redo the wire again. I actually put a heavy wire through and I've tied this wire to the heavy wire, and I think the heavy wire can't go in, it's too loose. So I think I'm just going to thread 2 of these wires through the same hole, so I'll go back and do that. Okay, so I took away the heavy wire and I've just put 2 wires. The problem is the holes are very close together, and there's 2 here and there's 2 over here, and I can't use these ones, so I'm using these ones. So what I'm going to do is I put 2 wires through, one at the back, one here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to thread this now, tie this one to this wire and this one to this wire, and that should solve our problem then. So I'm just going to cut that down a bit. Instead of going across diagonally or lengthways, we'll go side, front to back, and that way then we'll stop it wobbling. Hopefully. can get in there better. Still not the greatest, but at least it can't fall out. It's because the base of the tree is so big and the holes are so close together in the pot. But that's getting pretty solid now. Let's move it down a bit there. Okay, that should be fine. Now let's just check. I think once we get some soil under it, we should be able to tighten it up. Let's move it a little because there's no soil there. So let's fill that in now. Let's see how we go. Like I said, the tree can use the whole pot. It can grow under the wall. The wall isn't dividing the pot, it's just going from one side to the other above the soil. Okay, let's work that in now. Just push the tree slightly forward to get it packed in underneath. And then I'll push it back slightly so that we can make sure it's packed in underneath this front as well. Okay, so I'm going to spend a little bit of time now, piece of wire, working this in because I want to make sure it's well and truly packed in nicely. So we'll do that and then we'll come back and see how we're getting on. Okay, so just raise the camera up a bit now. Tree's good and solid now. I've spent good time getting it nice and solid in there. So now I'm going to work on the landscape basically. So I've studied the tree, and what I can see is there's a kind of a bare patch around the tree here. It's kind of straight here on this side, but it kind of curves around here. So I've got this mixture of all sorts of different sieved soils and bits of grit and stuff like that. So it's kind of a good natural looking substance for something like this. We'll put it on. I'm not worried too much at the moment about where everything is. Just want to make sure. Let me get my scoop easier. Okay, So now we need to put some moss in, but before I do, there's also a path that kind of comes up here and goes up the hill on that side, so I want to kind of build that side up a little bit first. So this is going to be the hill going up. Let's just get some moss. Maybe what I'll do actually is I'll just put a bit of sand on that. Just I'll put some of this mixture of a bit of everything again, different sands, so black sand and white sands and all sorts of sand, so we'll put that in. And that then will help the moss to cling to it, and it can also be our path then. So put that there, just wet that down. Now I think the paths do have kind of like a bit of a stone effect, but we'll just do it as dirt paths for now. We can always do that at a later date. So basically what I want is a path to kind of come through here and around that way like that. So we'll fill in the rest with some moss and use some of this heavier stuff to kind of fill in the background. Okay, I want our path there, don't we? So let's do it this way. And we can fill our path in. This will all eventually mould itself in together. Just take off that bit or something. Kind of mix up the moss a little bit, put a bit of this stuff on now as well, so it's not all the same stuff. Okay, so this can be our pathway. There is a path actually here as well. So I'll leave a gap there for another pass. I'll just put a small thin layer. Let's see what I've got. I've got lots of different types of moss I collected. I'll just put a thin line across here just to create the illusion that goes on for further on to get past this. So it has this here, and now it comes around here in a kind of a curve. Maybe I'll keep the fine stuff in there. Just where people, it's one of the most photographed trees. You get a lot of people going and getting their photographs taken by it. Now we want another kind of lumpy bit up here to act as the hill on this side. Create the illusion that just starting to go up the hill there. Okay. Put this in here now just to fill that up. Okay, I think I might use this for this pass as well. The black stuff just looks a bit lost. I'll just put a little bit of moss on the bottom of that, just to stop that washing away when I water it. Okay, so that is basically the layout of where the tree is. Spray in. Like I said, we can always add some little kind of like random flat rocks along here. For now, this will do. Looks kind of natural enough. Now the front. The only thing we've got at the front is here where this is. We have another path coming out this way. So first thing we'll do is again we'll use a bit of this heavier stuff to put there, and we'll use a bit on this side as well. Just again to give the illusion of going up a side of a hill. It looks a bit strange now, but once it all starts to mould into each other, it starts to look a little bit realistic. So the rest of this is basically just grass, just a path here. So we'll just fill all this in. Again, we're going to use some different types of moss just to break it up a bit. You. A tiny bit here, a big bit. And just along in the front of the wall, I'm just going to put some of this longer stuff. It kind of grows like long grass or ferns or something, so we'll just put a tiny layer of that along the front of the wall just to get the illusion of weeds and stuff growing up it, or long grass where it's not been trampled by anything. Bit in there. We can always prune it as it goes. Starts getting a bit too long. Okay, so we're filling our path. Use this stuff again. This must be the pathway to get to the wall. thing left to do is just put a little bit of moss. I've got this very, very fine stuff. Scoot it out. This really fine stuff. So I'm just going to pull off bits of that. See if I can get some in amongst the wall. There's some growing on it already, as you can see. I did put some on it when I built the wall, but most of it just died off over the winter. It's starting to come back now again a bit. There isn't a whole lot of moss on the wall when you look at it, but I'll just add a little bit here and there just to add a bit of detail. Get the kind of plain look off it. There's a bit of a plain bit here, but moss won't take to that. Fill that hole in a bit. Okay. I'm going to put my tweezers. We could stick some little bits in the crevices of the wall here too, just on the, hoping that it'll start to grow, just to break the wall up a bit, not so grey looking. Some over here. Let's see if we've got some more brighter stuff. Stuff quite dull. Just put little bits in, just enough to get it start to grow. Okay, I think that'll do. There's a couple of weeds growing on it, but we'll just leave that. We'll trim it back, and if it needs to come out one day, we'll pull it out, but it just looks a bit natural too. So I'll clean up, and then we'll come back and have a look at it. Okay, so I've cleaned up a bit, so let's have a look at it. So we do our pass up. We have our clear patch. And I've matched it up as best I could with the real thing, where the paths are and stuff. So hopefully the tree recovers. I'd say it should be okay. If anybody hasn't seen the sycamore gap tree, just maybe Google it, have a look at it. It's a shame that they got chopped down. I think it was like 300 years old or something like that. So we'll put this on the bench, we'll give it a good watering, and fingers crossed the tree recovers and the moss will start blending in with each other and start filling out, and it should hopefully look something half decent in the summer. The tree is starting to grow now quite well, so it will probably take off soon and need pruning. So that'll be kind of an update then when we come back to do that on how the rest of it's looking. So as always guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.